Alright. Let's see what type of new video game news we can find today. What? I'm sorry. Okay. What? Hey guys, Blackcross here, and today's discussion video is going to involve with Bethesda. Now, I hadn't really talked about Bethesda whenever they first talked about the PlayStation 4 not having mods for their new upcoming titles. The reason I hadn't really said anything about it was because I kind of made sort of a self-referential promise to myself. I said that if for some reason Fallout 4 does come with mods, and by mods I mean certain kind of mods that would help me out, like probably being able to get any material in the game, or having infinite bottle caps, because I have no materials. I kid you not, I run out of space to carry more, and I end up walking like a fucking snail, and I don't have the ability to carry everything. And it gets harder and harder to maintain that status of just having all sorts of materials. Not only that, but the game is so massive when it comes to like side quests and stuff that it's kind of hard to jump into Fallout 4 again. And if it ain't just that, it also got the problem with bugs in the DLC. I kid you not. From what I've heard from Nuka World, which is the one DLC that I would desperately want to have. And by desperately want to have, I mean, I kid you not, that is the one DLC whenever I first heard it. I was like, I'm going to that place. I heard that it has bugs too, and it's like, Bethesda, can you not program games these days? Seriously, I hear praises from players all the time, and yet you can't make games? But then whenever the so-called mods were being made and everything like that, I was like, okay, well, let's just wait and hear what we can hear. And then it wasn't until, like, I want to say a couple weeks ago that I heard that Bethesda said that there won't be any mods for Skyrim, much less for Fallout 4, because of Sony's restrictions. And honestly, I can understand why, because Sony has this little barricade of security. And it makes sense for why they would do this, you know? All sorts of YouTubers and all sorts of researchers have talked about it countless times, saying that Netoni? I have no idea what I was going for right there. But Sony basically has a big security problem. And there are a lot of conspiracy going around with that issue, but the main thing is that Sony technically does have a big issue with security. However, though, that was a couple weeks ago whenever they said that there won't be any mods. Now they're saying there will be. Because Bethesda clearly stated that they were not allowed to have mods on their titles, on their consoles, because of Sony. A record, according to the phrasing word per se, said that we were not allowed to make mods. We were trying to work with Sony, and Sony basically said no. That's basically phrasing words of what Bethesda technically said. Wasn't Sony, it was Bethesda saying that they were trying to work with Sony. Sony was working with them, with the mods, and then it kind of went backlashed on them, saying that it's not going to happen. And now they're saying they're going to have it? Make up your bloody minds! I thought Square Enix was trolling us for the blast. And here I saw Square Enix was trolling us. Bethesda seems to be the biggest troll of them all. But I'm going to read the news article and kind of get a bigger explanation as to what's really going on. The PlayStation 4 version of Fallout 4 and Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition will get mod support after all, Bethesda Softworks announced today. That's a welcome reversal from September, when Bethesda said that promised mod support on PlayStation 4 wasn't coming due to unspecific restrictions from Sony. basically saying what I just said. Mod support will come to the PlayStation 4 version of Skyrim first, Bethesda said on its website. The remastered version of Skyrim launches on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, in parentheses, on October 28th, which basically means towards the end of the month, it's going to be released. Skyrim Special Edition will also support Sony's upcoming PlayStation 4 Pro, Bethesda said, with native 4K rendering available on the more powerful console. Bethesda said it plans to update Fallout 4 to support mods and PlayStation 4 Pro hardware after work on Skyrim Special Edition is complete. We expect Fallout 4 to take advantage of the PlayStation 4 Pro in 4K along with enhanced lighting and graphic feature, the company added. That paragraph basically is stating that if you have a PlayStation 4, you are going to get the best quality you could ask for. I don't. That part doesn't really matter, but I figured you guys probably are very intense in wanting to know that is it going to be having that 4K resolution. Well, that news basically says yes, it will. It will be given an update. Mod support for the console version of Fallout 4 were announced earlier this year and were expected to be available on both platforms by June. Xbox One owners got mod support for Fallout 4 in May, while PlayStation 4 owners were forced to wait for reasons that were unclear. Bethesda pointed out one major limitation on PlayStation 4 mods that console owners should be aware of. You will not be able to upload external assists with your PlayStation 4 mods, but you will be able to use any assist that comes with the game, as most mods do. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that there is an extension as to what mods you can technically use before you break the game. And for the PlayStation 4, I think it's understandable. The PlayStation 4 is programmed way differently than what the PlayStation 3 was programmed for. And in all honesty, the PlayStation 3 in and of itself is programmed a lot differently than what a PlayStation 2 could. So modding PlayStation 2 games are a lot easier than modding PlayStation 3, let alone PlayStation 4s. And I think when the PlayStation 3 first came out, it was somewhat slowly getting hacked to where it could get modded. But now with the PS4, they've made a complex system to where basically it's restricting people trying to cheat their way, trying to get free games, and ruining the company as a whole. So basically Bethesda had to work around those little fences, basically try to jump over it, much less, trying to do all forms of light in order to create this idealization that it will have mods, but then at one point they kind of gave up and said that it wasn't going to have mods, and then all of a sudden here we are a couple of weeks later, they're saying, oh, never mind, we can put mods in the PlayStation 4 system. Sorry, don't hate us. We're working really hard. That's literally what I'm hearing from them, directly from them. It may not be said directly, but it sounds like they're being that wimpy kid that was like, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to say what we said. We're working really hard as best as we can, and don't worry, it should be fine. We're working as hard as we can. Oh my fucking god. It's just, I heard people, and I heard rumor, well, it was rumored, and then I heard a lot of people talk about it, an onslaught of conversation, and yet this, right here, oh my fucking god, what the fuck is wrong with Bethesda these days? I don't hate Bethesda, I don't, it just, when they promised something and then they gave up on it, I figured that was it, you know? That's no big deal, you know, they said that they would try, because the PlayStation 4 is programmed differently than the Xbox One, and I figured, you know what, that's okay, because Microsoft, in the end, is a computer company, so they can work with them easily. Sony is not. So it makes sense for why it would be a harder console to work with. and then all of a sudden they turn around and say, oh, we can have mods. We can have mods. What the frickin' hell? Again, I don't know. It just, at this rate, the main thing that keeps me from playing Fallout 4 is that it is just a bigger game that I could ever want to touch. Like, I've played a lot of big games, okay? I played a lot of RPGs that take a long-ass time. I'm okay with that. I'm used to playing games that take a lot of grinding in order to get certain items. I'm used to that. I'm used to playing games that take a long time to level up. That's no big deal. But when you got a game that has oodles upon oodles upon oodles upon oodles upon oodles, oodles, a lot of content and more DLC that pushes me away. Like, if you have seen the workshop, you would realize that there is a shit ton of fucking stuff. It's like, I don't even have the materials to make that shit. I'm looking at it and it's like, how are you able to keep doing this? You had to have played the game probably for like weeks upon end in order to get half the stuff. And like I said, if there was a mod that allows me to either have every available item, not weapons or per se, but like every scrap item, or have infinite amount of bottle caps, because surely to goodness I could use the supplies myself, it wouldn't be a problem. I mean, I don't need a gun mod that allows me to shoot everything and be one-hit kill. I don't need a mod that basically does a one Punch Man theme. I don't even need a mod that tells me, let's give you 100 Death Claws. I don't need that mod. I just need a simple cheat mod to where I can make accessibility, and that's it. That's all I want. Personally, for me, mods aren't really something that is exciting. I mean, there are some mods, much like the Project M, that are really fun and entertaining to see. You know, just surprising things to see from time to time, and be like, that makes the game a little bit better. But then when you got like the PlayStation 4, Fallout 4 mods, I'm looking at it and it's like, really? That's what you're gonna do? Okay. It's just, I've looked at some of the mods that Fallout 4 would have, and it's like, okay, why would, I mean, I get that it would be fun, but why? You're going to beat the game in like an hour more than likely, because then you're not going to die. I don't know, maybe that's just me nitpicking because of the fact that I'm just kind of aggravated that Bethesda stated that it wasn't getting mods and now they are. It's like, what? I don't know. Again, that was just early of a morning. Did not need to know that information beforehand without realizing that, hey, you might want to wake up for this one. And it was right there, and it's like, okay. So what's it saying now? Alright then, but that's it for this discussion video. If you happen to have been into Fallout 4 having mods, much less Skyrim for that matter, having mods, and you own a PlayStation 4, but you were kind of bummed that it wasn't getting, but they are getting, does this make you happy? Does this get you excited? Does this increase the idea that maybe Sony, they had like a little restriction wall and they kind of need to lower it down now to where other game developers can actually work on their titles? What do you think? What are your two best feelings on this one? For me, it's just on the lines of like, fine! That's basically the reaction that I got. It's not mad, it's not pissed off, it's mostly confused. That's all it is. But anyway though, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. This is Black Cross signing off. Take care, guys.